Uh, Welcome to the webinar, joint webinar between 401k Marketing and TPSU, the Plan Sponsor University, announcing our collaboration on TPSU Plus. We're going to get started in just a minute, talking about this new program and how adjunct lecturers who are already using TPSU can leverage the 401k marketing resources, and how advisors using 401k marketing resources can leverage TPSU. And before I start, I wanted to welcome my co-host, Rebecca Hourhan, who is the Chief Marketing Officer and founder of 401k Marketing. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it. I'm excited to talk more about our partnership.
Great. As I said, this is about a new collaboration that we have. And part of this is TPSU, and we'll get into it. You know, we do educational marketing. 401k Marketing does content, thought leadership marketing, prepares original content for their subscribers. So Rebecca, first thing, or just our agenda, we're going to talk about the why. What problem are we solving? Then we're going to talk about the what. How are we trying to address the problem? And then finally, we'll talk about next steps, you know, how you can engage, whether you're a TPSU lecturer or you're a current 401k marketing client. We have reserved time at the end for questions, but if at any time you have a question, just either put it in the chat box or you can speak. Everyone is muted. You can unmute yourself if you're on your computer by clicking your icon, or if you're just on the phone by *6. So with that, Rebecca, I will turn it over to you and you can get into the why.
Thanks, Fred. And like Fred mentioned, if you do have a question, please, by all means, feel free to ask it. The more questions, the better. So I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm going to go over what's happening in today's marketplace. All right. We're going to talk about TPSU Plus and retirement plan marketing, so that way you can have a constant engagement channel to your prospects after they've left that amazing TPSU event. They've got the retirement plan on their mind. What's next? But before we dive into that, we have to really talk about what's happening today in our current marketplace and why top advisors are investing in different marketing strategies. So right now in our labor market, we have 4 very different and very unique generations. We have baby boomers, Gen Xers, Gen Yers, which are affectionately known as millennials, and Gen Z. And these 4 cohorts are very unique from a demographic standpoint, and they all like to receive content differently. If we take a look back and we say, what does our current labor force look like today? This is more or less what it looks like. Okay, so right now, roughly 25% of our labor force is comprised of baby boomers. 32% is Gen Xers, 35% are millennials, and about 5% are Gen Z. Now, the reason I bring this up is if you look at the way that our labor force is stacked, we have a lot of really great senior leadership. Nearly 70% of our labor force today has years of experience. They understand the 401k plan, and I'm sure a lot of folks have heard this already, but every single day, 10,000 baby boomers a day reach age 65. And a lot of them are saying, hey, thank you so much for a wonderful, glorious career, but I'm going to retire. So fast forward, 2070. What does our labor force look like now? Well, if you notice, we'll have a lot of those baby boomers will have done what we've helped them do. They've reached retirement. They're going to have their encore careers and do the things that mean the most to them. Also, you're going to notice that millennials are going to represent nearly 45% of our marketplace. And millennials and Gen Xers all are very different from a content marketing standpoint and how they like to consume information. So this is the customer journey and how each one of those different generations likes to receive information. Now, if you notice, it's all different, right? Lots of different colors on here. But if you narrow in on one section right in the middle, live events, every single generation likes live events. So, which is why Fred, TPSU, an amazing program, get folks in there, educated in person. Now, the rest of the information, referrals, social media, email campaigns, webinars, all different. And that's where the content comes in. We strive to create 360 degrees of content awareness around you, your business as 401k experts. And we strive to always consistently deliver thought leadership campaigns that you can present to your clients, to your TPSU, folks who have attended, again, top of mind, retirement plan, excited, want to learn more. We want to make sure we're bridging that gap so that way you can earn more clients quicker.
Great, thank
Fred,
you.
did I miss anything before I talk about content?
No, and we'll get into that in the what. So yeah, if from our perspective, why we're doing TPSU and what problem that we're solving for advisors is the need to fill the pipeline with meaningful prospects. Now, we know that the most important and the best way that you can get prospects is through referrals. And that's a great source. But one of the other really good ways is to do it through content, through educational marketing, these educational programs on this. And the problem that many people have when it comes to educational marketing is filling the room and getting people in there and giving them a really, really great experience. And what TPSU has been figured out, and we'll show you some of the numbers, we're getting really good response. We've done over 450 programs since 2013, and we have developed a real good educational format that we're getting a good response on. But we're coming back to areas over and over. We have lots of referrals and lots of people. So it's all about making sure that number one, you get people in the room, and number two, that it's a high level education. They don't feel like they're being sold anything. But I would say that when people ask me, what's the most important part of thing I should know about with TPSU is follow up, follow up, follow up. Because if you've done everything right and you have 20, 30 people in the room, you have a great experience and everybody is very happy, and you don't follow up, you have to wonder, why did I do it? So that is really why we're trying to fill the pipeline. And for those people that are lucky enough to be working with 401k marketing, they have a great follow-up program. We're just going to give you more opportunities upon which to follow up and to be able to co-brand. So with that, Rebecca, let's get into the what. What can people expect if they do TPSU Plus? And to be clear, this is a true collaboration. If you work with 401k marketing, be working with them on their content. We're not trying to, increase the price or, take a percentage of that. And the same thing with TPSU. We just think that what we do works so well together. We want to give each of our clients the advantage of this collaboration. So with that, Rebecca, tell us a little bit about what 401k marketing is and what you do for your clients.
Right. So let me share my screen again here.
We do have a question. Actually, we have two of them. So let me see. So Ardian otherwise known as RDN, asks, even when filling the room, technology has got these groups used to a lot for free. Lots of work goes into what we do that will bring them our current one plan, and what is frustrating is they bring that to the one time. Yeah, so that's the value, Ardian, of being in person to show it's not just a spreadsheet, it's not just a white paper, it's not just a questionnaire, it's like it's you and your passion and your knowledge for 6 hours in front of them. And it really distinguishes the people being able to do that and to put that program together. We try to make it that it's your program, not so much TPSU program, it's a collaboration, but very, very much agree. They can take everything that they learned and then say to their advisor, can you do this? That's always the danger. But there's not really an alternative. I mean, do you not show them anything until they hire you? Well, you won't get hired unless you show them something. So, but it's a very good question. Thank you. Sorry, Rebecca.
That's absolutely fine. That whole concept of ghosting is unfortunate because they take the great information that you just spent hours sharing with them, and then which is why I think it goes back to having a consistent follow-up program. It's poking holes. It's saying, okay, I'm sharing newsletters, infographics, best practice guides, videos, and I'm delivering all of this great knowledge to that employer, the plan sponsor. Eventually that light bulb might resonate and say, oh, maybe I'm not with the right advisor here. And every time you poke holes, it's going to create an opportunity for you. Here is, let me go back. So for TPSU adjunct lectures for ongoing content marketing, every single quarter, we produce timely, relevant information for plan sponsors. What's happening now, what is important to them based on different trends that are generally happening around the retirement plan committee table that advisors are talking about. And that's what we try to deliver. It's really that thought leadership on a consistent basis. And we outline it for our clients in a way that it should be able to be implemented on a very easy basis. Every week we have a different action item, an article, a newsletter, sales emails. To your question on how do you poke those holes, we've got compelling sales emails that ask those open-ended questions to start to create those seeds of doubt. Social cards, so always keeping you active on social media. I'm going to dive into these in just a sec, but I wanted to show that it's laid out in a way that first there's a marketing strategy behind it. So it's consistent and you're always in different ways, so whether it's online, email marketing, search engine optimization, social media, you're consistently delivering different pieces of content in the ways that each one of those generations likes to receive materials. So there's also that psychology built into the content as well. For each quarter, we have the editorial calendar, which is lays out all the pieces for that exact quarter. If you are part of LPL Financial, I've got some great news for you. All the content that we produce is pre-approved through LPL. We also have wonderful relationships with Kestra, Cetera, First Allied, Cambridge, Commonwealth, and most CCOs as well. So your chief compliance officers, if you have any questions, we can share it with them easily so we can get that stamp of approval. And then if you do have questions, we have a nice compliance brochure that you can look through as well. And then from a content perspective, I'm going to show you blog article 1 and how to implement it. So this is an article where majority of times people, when they're going to look you up in advance of meeting with you, over 90% of folks are going to Google you. When they go to your website, if you have a blog, they're going to stay on your website 3 times longer. Who are you? What do you do? How can you help me? And here's an example of an article that just came out, and it's called How Your 401k Plan Can Help Us Attract and Retain Star Employees. We have a headline image, which is complimentary branded, like TPSU, which is to help keep the good momentum going forward. It came out of that event. They know TPSU's brand. They're excited about it. Now you can have that featured on your website. So then they're going to have that immediate recognition. It's already baked in trust. That's going to help advance that conversation forward. Copy and paste the article, post it on your website, an easy way, so that way you can show those plan sponsors how your 401k plan can help us attract and retain star employees, especially in today's tight labor market. I'm going to show 2 more pieces just for fun. This is the employee newsletter. Fred had mentioned the co-branding. So this is an example of co-branding. You click to insert your logo right here. And then on the back, you also click to insert your logo, your name, contact information, and disclosures. So while it's co-branded, your brand, front and center, TPSU, again, borrowing from that good equity that's already been built through the TPSU organization. And then there's a whole bunch of other pieces. And if anyone in today's conversation wants me to take a look at any of them, I will happily click in, or you can follow up directly and I'll give you a personal demo.
We did have a question on Snappy Kraken. I'm sort of familiar. I know they win a lot of awards on the wealth management side, but I'm not sure that Snappy Kraken does educational marketing and live events. But I know they do a lot of marketing. I think when it comes to content marketing, yes, it's probably very close to Snappy Kraken, which is a compliment. It's a good program. So thanks. So Rebecca, if we could
unknown caller.
With the sharing, could I share some of the things about TPSU?
Can't wait to see more.
And again, ask questions if you have. We are going to reserve time. So in terms of TPSU, I'm just going to share 2 brief slides. One of them is, and we can do it from the beginning, is just this is what the day looks like. And this is a standard day. So we don't deviate from the schedule, but we do have tremendous flexibility in the content that you want to present. So the lecturer is always the first speaker. We start with 15 minutes where we go around the room and all the plan sponsors introduce themselves, who they are, what their role is, the number of employees in their organization, and what they hope to learn, what they came for. And it really sort of opens everything up. And now, people have everyone has actually spoken already. And then you go into your presentation. Again, whatever you feel like you want to talk about that makes sense. This one, the adjunct corrector, wanted the roles and responsibilities and the fiduciary oversight for the plan. Then there's a keynote. Sometimes you can invite your providers. This is providers, what we're finding, are subsidizing a great percentage, if not 100% of the cost. But remember, they're subsidizing a TPSU program, and the money is collected by us. We work with you to find the sponsors, but we take care of all of that. There's also then a panel that goes for 45 minutes. And then what is by far the most popular session, we put people into groups of 4 to 7 plan sponsors by employee size, and they talk about over lunch what's working, what's not working on this. We have facilitators taking notes. What are their hot buttons? We're going to go out and search for a new advisor next week, or just we're interested in employee education. We're interested in benchmarking a record keeper. Those notes are given to you afterwards. Then we go through the ideal plan, which is the auto plan, and then we close. In terms of some of the numbers, at the top, you'll see all the programs last year and year to date. The average number of registrations the average number of attendees. Those are the actual people. And then most importantly, the average number of companies. So overall 16.7, last year we're 18.8. It was a tough year last year, actually, because we're just coming out of COVID and people were still a little bit concerned. But this year so far, we're at 20.8. One of the things that we're noticing, and it hasn't really, we haven't changed our strategy in terms of the assets of the plans that are attending. Overall, it's for the 453 programs, 9.6 million is the median, not the average, the median. 11.7 million last year, 15.8 million this year. And when you look at the percentages of companies with 3 to 100 million, it's gone from 68 to 70 to 72%. And over 100 million, it's jumped overall from 11% to 14% last year, 14.7. So we are starting to get larger plans. Sometimes we get the mega plans. We had the post office come to one of our programs. We had the University of Pennsylvania come. And even though it may not be realistic for you to win them over as clients, it's very validating and it's very good to have them. In terms of median participants, we've gone from 162 to 187 to 209. So we're showing good progress. We do guarantee 13 companies. And as I said, we're getting 21, an average of 21 in the room out there. So in terms of next steps and what you can do on the let me just stop this in the show in terms of what you can do, and if you want to get started, if you are a TPSU lecturer, Rebecca, what can they do, and how would they get started on TPSU Plus?
Great. I'm going to put our Calendly link in the chat below, so anyone can click on it directly, schedule time with the team, and feel free. We'd love to chat with you.
In that that program for TPSU it would include weekly content that would be co-branded with TPSU on that. And what is the cost for that?
Sure. Great questions, Fred. For the TPSU custom branded content, it's $549 a month. It includes weekly content that you're going to share that's either plan sponsor facing or participant facing. And it is available to be co-branded, TPSU, and your organization.
And if you do raise extra money from the TPSU for your TPSU program, from your sponsors, and you want to apply that to the TPSU Plus, to the marketing program, we can work that out. We'll work with Rebecca on that. So with us, if from our purposes, if you are interested, if you're a 401k marketing client, and you are interested in engaging with us, Dan Hall, who is our national director of for advisors, he is the person that you want to be in touch with, and I'll also be in touch with you. His email is dan@tpsuniversity.com, and you can reach out to him, and we'll do that, but we'll also be following up. One of the things that we really do want to ask you, though, with TPSU is if you go to our TRAU website, TRA University, and you look at training programs and you click on TPSU, it shows the map of where we have available. And there's going to be 3 different groups of, there are going to be zones that are open and available for in-person. So there's about 80 zones. Those open zones can either be taken, so somebody is committed to 2 programs and they have exclusivity, or maybe they just want to do 1 program and so it's partially open. Our white area or our open areas or no zone, those are either open for a virtual program, or you could do a hybrid where we could do in person, but some of the people can also be phoning in. Those are areas like a Las Vegas would be good for a hybrid. Montana, probably we're only going to do virtual because we're probably not going to be able to fill enough, at least 10 or 15 people in the room. So that would be the next steps. I see some other question in the chat. This was your calendar. Does anyone have any questions for me or Rebecca about TPSU, about 401k marketing, or about the program? And hopefully we've unmuted everyone, or they can unmute themselves. Any other questions, or have we answered everything that's in the chat? I think all of you know me and Rebecca, so you can reach out to me or to her if you do have any questions. So I'm going to going once, going twice. No other questions? Great. Thank you for joining our webinar. This will be available on both of our websites. If you want to have one of your colleagues share this, we look forward to working with you on this, what we think is a very exciting collaboration. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Fred. Thanks everyone for attending. Look forward to speaking soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.